Hello and welcome to the Enricher Business Circle podcast. I'm your host, Rickdrieka Bennett, and we often talk about optimizing our business and our marketing and our mindset. But what about optimizing the very instrument that we're using day in and day out, which is our bodies? My guest today is an expert exactly in that area. He's a chiropractic physician and the creator of your posture program dedicated to helping entrepreneurs and leaders upgrade their health by mastering their posture and brain function. Please give a warm welcome to Dr. Brett Hill. Dr. Brett
Hi.
Hill, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me. Glad to be here. I really appreciate it.
So, Dr. Hill, so just to jump in, many times we start the show off with the why behind the business. So, could you tell us your journey of how you got started and what really inspired you to create your posture program for others?
You betcha. When people hear posture, a lot of times they think, oh, yeah, I got to sit up straight, or, oh, yeah, my posture's not great. But I'm kind of nerdy because it gets me excited because I understand the neurology of how it's like fundamental for our health. It's foundational to a lot of the neural processes in our body and our brain and how we develop and grow. And how I
Mhm.
got there, I think, has a lot to do with I'm always driven for results. Like I've always been driven to try to be the best on the team, or to try something new and get results differently. Growing up, I played any sport I could in school. And in school, once I went to undergrad, I thought I was going to be a medical doctor because my mom had some health issues and I wanted to fix all her problems. But I realized that might not be the best avenue for a lot of the chronic issues that she had, and things that we see, because medication for this and that wasn't fixing the root of the problem. And it
Mm.
drew me into understanding more about the body. Had some experiences with my wife at the time, got in a car accident, and we went to a chiropractor, and he was talking to her about other things besides just her back that could be affected. And it intrigued me. And the more I learned about it, the more I realized, wow, this is really about helping the body to heal, not trying to force something and control the body. And it resonated. And so I decided to go to chiropractic school, and I was determined, I'm just going to take as much information in as I can. I'm going to learn what the best technique is, come out of school and help people the best way. And I was a little surprised, because what I realized is there's no one way or one technique
Mhm.
for all people and all practice styles. And so that's one thing I actually really struggled with. Why is there such a variance in the chiropractic world? What is the best? Let's do that. So I was driven to get results with people. And I took a lot of extra neurology coursework and things outside of schooling that really made sense to me, of why does this adjustment or this activity or this exercise help improve these things that seem unrelated.
Mm.
And it really made sense to me. And that's where, when I came out of school, I was determined to do something different. I wasn't I didn't want the clinic where people come 3 times a week, get the same adjustment, 2 minutes, they're out, and it's a numbers game. That is not what I do. I'm driven to get results in the fastest way possible. And so I started my practice with 0 patients in a
Mhm.
small room, 200 square feet, because I knew that what I could offer was bigger and better than what was out there. And it grew, and just referrals, really, and to where it is now. And that drew me to develop this posture program that we did with clients, because a lot of the chronic problems everybody was dealing with was from sitting at a computer or looking at their phone, at the root of a lot of problems, whether it be vertigo, headaches, migraines, jaw tension, stress, neck pain, back pain, plantar fasciitis, things where it all related to the nervous system in this postural way. And so we developed this program that we were doing with clients in office. And I realized those that do it are getting better. How can we help more people when we took it online? And so we can assess virtually people's posture anywhere in the world through our app that we use. And we meet with them once a week on this program to coach them and direct them on what they should be feeling, how to connect their brain to the body,
Mhm.
because they've lost that connection. I mean, if you think of yourself, how many hours a day are you sitting at a computer? That becomes your new normal. You probably don't even notice the effects that it's having until years down the road. And it's like, oh, well, this has been bothering me. It's tight. And then something else comes up, and then something else comes up. And a lot of it is all related to that foundational aspect of our posture.
And I love the fact that you say that because I know I work in the office majority of the time. And that was one of my biggest things was investing in the right chair, but not just a chair that's gonna make me sit up straight, but a chair that I can sit in different styles while working. So I'm adjusting my posture throughout the day versus staying in just one method. So that was one of the things that I had to realize because I've went through going to those chiropractors where they want you to come 3 times a week, and then I've gone to the ones they say, "Well, come twice a month." So, in learning that, I learned to kind of adjust my posture throughout the day versus just sitting up in one that's triggering other issues down the road. So, I love the fact that you shared that with everybody, but also, I kinda have a question around, kinda like a myth buster kinda question. A lot of people think that because they've had car accidents or they may have, like, a metal rod in their back or things like that, that they can't go to a chiropractor, to help them with, like, pain management and things of that nature. Could you go into detail about that kinda stuff?
Sure. That's not true. We see people that have been, well, that go into car accidents all the time, or they've had fusion of their spine, or they've had rods put in, or they've had a replacement of some sort. Um, I guess I should preface this. It depends where you go. Again, if you're going somewhere that's just 3 times a week, same adjustment, they may just try to give you the same thing that they give to everyone. And then what we're targeting and what we're really focused on is what's your body been adapting to? How do
Mhm,
we take that and adapt to empower you to get stronger? So, in a lot of chiropractors, a lot of clinics, yeah, it won't be a problem at all. And in fact, you'll recover so much faster or get so much more benefit because it's helping the spine, the body move better, and it helps
mhm.
free up interference in the nervous system where it needs that information to heal the muscles and tissue and understand where the body is. And so that's where we deal a lot with in our program, and what helps beyond like just an adjustment. If you go to a clinic where they just adjust or they just do some muscle work, they're limiting themselves on the results, and that's where we come in helping activate the nervous system differently so we see different results. I would take what you said about the chair even a little step further. Part of the what we created in our program is to make it simple, because you still have to go to work, you still have to be on the computer. Most people do. Most people are on the computer for hours on end. Our bodies weren't designed to just sit there. And so what happens, it adapts to that. It gets really good at whatever we tell it to do. So when we are telling it to sit for a long period of time, and not even that, let the chair do the work of holding us upright against gravity, there's a lot of effects that come in to our health over a period of time. And so we designed this program to make it simple. And starting off for people, we say just 5 minutes a day, just start 5 minutes a day making some simple changes, and it can make big differences over time. So, for you, even, sitting at the chair, I would say even 30 seconds balance every now and then. That's one of the big things. And one of the exercises we give people at the beginning, we love to give your listeners as well as yourself, some, the top three exercises we give to people, we love to give that to them for free to start doing today to see a change. And it's 5 minutes a day. It's really not that hard. It's consistency to start changing these patterns we've built, and it can make a big, big difference in our life.
And I love that you're saying that because I think that most of the time people um relate everything around chiropractic to your posture and more of just sitting up straight instead of slouching. Why is it So why is it so critical overall? Um, and how does like different elements of it connect more so to your performance and your brain function?
Yeah, I like that question because, like you said before, a bit of a myth buster. This is one of the biggest myths out there is that fixing your posture is just sitting up straight.
Mhm.
Um, because I see this all the time. And you maybe, everybody I talk to when we're talking about their posture and they think, oh yeah, I got to fix my posture. I see them sit up straight for maybe 30 seconds, maybe a little bit more, and then they go right back into where they were. But they
Mhm.
know they need to sit up straight or sit taller or change something, but it's not that easy. And so what posture is and what it isn't is really important to understand. So most people think posture is just, yeah, I got to pull my shoulders back, I got to sit up straighter, and that's what it is. What I'm saying posture is so much more than that. Posture is the core foundation of how we hold our spine and our head against gravity to be able to have good awareness of where our body is and good neural connection
Mhm.
throughout everything. When we are slouched forward, especially so sitting at the computer, majority of people do this for their workday day in, day out. What happens in the nervous system and in the body, the head starts to come forward. And now the head is one of the key focuses for our posture system. The rest
Mhm.
of the body and the spine is going to follow that because we have our ear canals that help keep us balanced. We have our visual system, which is very dominant in getting awareness of what's important and what sensory we're bringing in, especially
Mhm.
looking at a screen. And then our cervical spine also gives feedback to keep us balanced and keep our head aligned. So when we come forward, we don't end up looking down at our keyboard. We tilt our head to look at the screen because that's where all the information is. So what
Mhm.
happens is at the base of our skull, these muscles have to compensate and tighten up. Our jaw muscles can shift and change, and we get tension in there. We lengthen out the neck muscles, but we also have to pull our shoulders forward because um, as we come into that screen and as we slouch to gravity, we're not lifting up anymore. Our shoulders follow the head positioning coming forward. But then what happens, because the chair is holding us upright against gravity, we aren't really using our core system. We can kind of collapse and the chair holds us up and we don't need to use those muscles. So when people stand or they walk or they start to, after a long workday, they go for a jog or they go for a run, even if they're active, their posture has already been compensated because 8 hours, 9 hours that we're sitting, it's adapted to that to become the new normal. So what happens is as the head goes forward, our hips and our core will now shift forward to offset that. And our feet, if you were to look at someone or stand yourself and think, where's my stance? If your feet flare out, you're naturally adapting to widen your stance to keep you more balanced because as we lose that head position and then we compensate in our core, our body is adapting so we can stand upright a little more efficiently, but it's at the compromise of other things. And so the body ends up working way harder just to keep us upright against gravity, whether sitting or standing, because everything's thrown off. That's why, how tired are you at the end of the day just sitting at a computer? How much do we feel our brain fog of just, oh, I'm exhausted. I need a break. I can't think anymore. But we've just been sitting looking at a screen, haven't been doing much strenuous work, but it taxes our brain and nervous system. It taxes our body. And we feel this fatigue because we are not being efficient in how we're positioning our body. And it changes what areas of our brain are firing to have less blood flow, oxygenation, nutrition. So it relates a lot on a deeper level to our health chronically when we're not taking a deep breath, when we are working harder to just stay upright, when we don't get movement, we're not activating a lot of the nervous system and healthy areas of our brain. And it can lead to more stress and tension.
Mhm. So, in doing that, some of the practical solutions you would say is more so taking like breaks throughout the day to like stand and change your posture. Would that be like a good starting point for someone who's sitting at the desk all day, or is it something else?
Yeah, good question. Because, if posture is not as simple as just, okay, I got to sit up straight. Well, what is the answer? Because I wish it was simple, because in the sense of knowing what to do, because it's unconscious muscles. Your posture, when it's adapted poorly, that becomes your new normal.
Mhm.
So you might think, oh, my hamstrings are just always tight, or my hip flexors are tight. Well, that's because when you're sitting, your knees are bent, your hips are flexed, and that becomes your new normal in your brain. So that change in positioning, it adapts to, now we have tension in other areas and unawareness of where our body should be. So
Mhm.
with most people that try to get into the right position are now compensating with what we call conscious muscles, or voluntary muscle groups, where they try to move in position, but they're just using all these big mover muscles because they don't know what the posture muscles should feel like. And this is the secret sauce of what we give people, and what we help is connecting their brain to their body in the nervous system, in this core system of what should it feel like? How should I move? And when it becomes something that's automatic for them, man, they're so much stronger in their workouts. They're so much more aware of their posture when they're driving in their car, sitting at the desk. So the first thing that we give in these exercises, and that everybody can get, that we say 5 minutes a day, do these 3 exercises. First one is deals with our head position. So you'll see in the videos, and I can't describe it here, so I encourage them to go and download those, opt in, and we'll send you the link for those, because it shows a video laying face down to have some gravity resisting on the head. But what I can show any of your listeners, I'll describe, but those that can see, we can also do this in a standing way when we are sitting in a chair with a high back, or driving in the car, or even take a break and stand against a door or a wall. And if you can you want to get the back of your head, shoulders, and hips all along the chair or the wall, so that they're aligned up. Now, what I see a lot of times is, because people are used to compensating forward, now when they go to put their head on the wall with their shoulders and their lower back, they start to tilt their chin up, or their nose goes up, because they have a difficulty pulling it straight back. Or if they do get the back of their head on the wall, they're really tucking their chin in, and it feels really awkward. So what I say is, think of the head pulling long, like a string is pulling the back of your head up, at the same time you pull your ears over the shoulders. We want to keep the ear and eye level to not compensate by tilting it up, but feel that chair or the headrest in your car or a wall, and try to think, okay, if I bring my head back, does now my lower back arch or tilt away from the wall? If it does, again, it's compensating. It's trying to make up movement because it's not its normal way of moving. And that just tells you where it's off. So
Mhm.
what you want to do is pull your belly button in. So that's what we connect with these exercises, is help teach people, what does that feel like? Where do you start? And that's with the head positioning. So trying to get your head up and back. Second, the core. So getting your belly button towards your spine. And then thirdly, balance. This is the simplest thing I would say for people to do. So when they're standing on the wall, or when are at your desk, take 30 seconds. And right now I'm standing at a desk all the time when I'm working or on the computer. And all the time I'll just balance. When I feel myself fatigue, I just balance, and it activates that posture system naturally, because I know exactly what those muscles should feel like. So when
Mhm.
you balance, I encourage people to start on a wall. It's a little more helpful to guide them, because they can feel where the head should be, the shoulders, and the hips. So if your foot, say your heel is an inch or two off the wall, once you balance on one leg, bring the rest of your body off the wall, but try to keep it aligned from your ankle, knee, hip, shoulder, and ear. After 10 seconds, go back against the wall and see what hits. If your shoulders hit, but your butt and your head are too far forward, that's a true sign that you've really compensated in that postural alignment, and your brain doesn't know exactly where your body is. And so that can help give it that feedback to
Mhm.
know, okay, I need to change this. So I would start there, simple things. But if you build that awareness, it'll start making big changes over a longer period of time. Just like sitting, small changes to lose your posture It doesn't take huge things to actually bring it back. We just have to have the proper awareness and control.
And I love the fact that you said that because I know even with me, if I sit in the chair and I don't change my posture throughout the day, if I try to do yoga at the end of the night, I can definitely feel all the muscles that have tightened up during the day. But if I do like yoga in the morning, change my posture during the day and then do it again at night, I can feel my muscles more relaxed and open at the end of the night because I actually played around with that one time just to see what would be the cause and effect. So yeah.
That's awesome. And I mean, that's one of the things we try to induce with people is not just doing like a one thing like yoga. Wow, that was good. That made an impact. What if we could implement small movements throughout our day to always feel better, always
Mhm,
feel more movement, more mobile? That is the purpose of this program, is to make it your natural, normal movement and
mhm.
build better health patterns to help you long term. I'm glad. I love that you could feel that and you could know that. And that's one of the things we see people that go through this. They're like, man, I'm so much stronger, more aware of this, and it can be sustained. That's the goal.
Yeah, because I even have a under the desk treadmill. So if
Mm,
it's like something that I can do and walk at the same time, I'll
perfect.
do that as well. So I definitely love that.
That's
So
good.
I kind of want to shift and ask this question because you were talking about the mind connection with posture. Would you say that your mindset play a heavy role in all of this when it comes to that connection?
Oh, I love that. I love that because most people don't correlate this, but it is huge. It's huge. I mean, you could ask, and your listeners or those watching, if I'm here talking, what impression do you get? What, like, the feedback that you can tell just in the way I look,
Mhm,
makes a big difference than when I'm here. Like,
mhm,
we can see that immediately. Why is that? Why can you tell just by the way I'm holding my body?
mhm,
Because the way we move and the way we hold our body against gravity is a direct reflection of how we feel emotionally and the areas of our brain that are firing. So when we feel stressed, anxious, we pull the shoulders up to our ears, we clench our jaw, we do physical effects that are related to our mental perception of stress or
mhm,
emotions. Most people focus on, "Oh, yeah, I just have all this stress. Yeah, I've got to go get counseling or these," which is great. You need to address that mental aspect. Why do we never address the physical aspect in, oh, I can feel my shoulders pulling up. Why don't I be aware or improve my postural tone? This, I would say, is not good posture when we're flexed forward, shoulders are up high to our ear, we're leaning, or we're depressed kind of, or anxious kind of, holding patterns. That's not good posture. That's not healthy. And that can also affect our perception of ourselves. So rather than focusing on just the mental aspect, why don't we focus on that physical of, if I change my posture, it's a different way to address the way we see ourselves, that confidence, that stress response, versus just focusing on the mental or dealing with it from an outside view of the brain. Focus it from that physical aspect. That actually will change our brain patterning. The more we hold that good posture, that confidence pose, that relaxed with the shoulders and aware of that, that's good posture. That's what we train in this program. And that affects people's ability to, first of all, recognize when they're feeling this stress. I hear all the
mhm.
time people are like, oh, that's just me all the time. Yeah, I just hold that constantly. Well, you don't have to. They don't even know they're holding it or when their shoulders are up. I'm like, you got to drop their shoulders. They're like, I am. I'm like, no, you're not. That's your normal. And so we got to connect the brain to be like, oh, it can move differently. This feels better. And if we do that all the time, we don't have to put on this show of, oh, I'm going out with friends, or, oh, I'm going to be presenting at something or a board meeting or whatever, where I better look good. I better hold this confidence posture. And then we go back into this slouch positioning. What if we could hold that all the time? How would we feel about ourselves and how would others see ourselves? It really does have a big connection there.
Yeah, I think that's incredible. So what's next for you and your program in the future?
Oh man, I'm always looking and adapting new things. I got a lot of things in my head of what I want to do. We want to work on like a youth specific. We have taken youth through like 11-year-olds up into like 70-year-olds through our program, and it's been amazing and it's been awesome. We see more and more youth looking at a screen, sitting all the time, dealing with postural issues, with anxiety, and those things. So kind of tweaking it, more advanced program and a youth specific program, although it's we've developed what it is because we've kind of dialed it in to be very specific and helpful for everybody right now. But those are some things. Yeah, I also have a vision of doing some. I love being in the outdoors, backpacking and mountain biking and fly fishing, and so doing some programs. I'd love to do a non-profit program for youth where they get an opportunity to get out, be healthy, exercise, strengthen their posture system, to be able to do some of these adventure things for those that may be underprivileged or a single parent home where they don't have the opportunity to do those things. So that's kind of in my brain that I would love to put together, and in the future it will happen.
Awesome. Well, Brett, thank you so much for being a guest on our show today. Today has felt like it has been a masterclass and a wealth of knowledge for those who are serious about making sure that they're in good health for business. Because one of my things I tell everybody is your health is your wealth. So if you're unhealthy, it's hard for you to actually do business efficiently and effectively. And so, guys, for those who want to connect with Brett, make sure you go to yourpostureprogram.com/videos. And Brett, are there any other ways that they can connect with you?
Yeah, they can email me directly. To be honest,
Mhm.
I'm not a big social media person. So personally, you won't find me much on social media ever. Um, that's the best place. Yourpostureprogram.com has a contact link. You can contact us directly. The
Mhm.
/videos gives you access to those 5 minute a day videos that we start with people in our program, so that you can start seeing that change and getting that impact, and connect with us through that. That's the best way.
Awesome. And for all of you listening, if you want more information, make sure you connect with Brett. And we have all of the links for the show in the show notes. And until next time, guys, keep striving to be better and enriching your life.